Okay, so welcome back. This video is a long overdue video. So I've received many questions on both YouTube and in class on how to convert an annotated bibliography. And if you haven't seen that video, you definitely need to take a look at that video before you take a look at this video. This video is a stage 2, and if you haven't done an annotated bibliography, you're really doing a lot more work than you need to do in terms of the literature review. So this is not how to go out and find literature for the review. You can find that in the videos that I've made for you on YouTube on finding research articles and finding articles in each of the databases that I have videos. I think there's a total of 6 or 7 of those videos, one for each database. So if you haven't looked at those and you're looking for articles, take a look at those. Then take a look at how to do an annotated bibliography, and then this is the final product. An annotated bibliography is designed as the heavy lifting stage for a literature review. Now, the first thing you do is, what is a literature review? Well, the easiest thing for me to say is what a literature review is not. A literature review is not a paper. Look at my face. A literature review is not a paper. It is not a research paper. It quite literally, in the literal term of the word literal, means I am looking at the literature that has been done on this topic before. Nothing more. This is not an opinion piece. This is not an op-ed. This is not a tell me what's great about it. This is a review of what has come before on this topic. Now, to do a literature review and really to do an annotated bibliography, you need to look at the last 5 years on your topic. And to do that, again, go back to the videos on how to find articles, how to find sources. What this video is going to do is teach you how to take what you have in the annotated bibliography and convert it into the pristine literature review. And for that, I have Word here open on our screen. So let me do this a little bit. I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit here. Let's scroll down so that I can get my camera on screen and you guys can kind of see what's going on here. Now, this is just Word. Like this, there's nothing special about this. I do have Mendeley installed. If you want to know more about Mendeley, if you've seen my Mendeley videos on YouTube, then you know what Mendeley is. If you don't know what Mendeley is, go take a look at those videos. I think you'll find it extremely useful. I do. So the only difference here is that I have Mendeley installed, and you can see that here in my references page. I have Mendeley here. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set this up for a formal paper. I'm going to go Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced, and I'm going to take 2 annotations that I have. I'm going to take them actually out of my Mendeley. I've got them just to show you. Here's my Mendeley. Here's the details. But I've written these up before so that I would have them ready for you. And I am quite literally going to take this and paste it. Now that did not come in correctly because this should be Times New Roman, but we'll set that up just fine. Now, the thing about this, I need to change this. Revealed. I yielded. See, it's always a good idea. Platform to check your spelling. In an attempting to. Just going to clean up my grammar and my writing here a little bit. Okay, so this is the first article. And authors I'm talking about here are Park, Mun, and Lee. So I can't just paste these articles in. Like I can't just take this and go, okay, then here's the next paragraph, right? You can do that, but everybody I know is going to count off. Using socket layers and the transport layer protocol. Okay. You can't just make a paragraph here and call it good. Now, why? Well, one, what does this mean? In doing a literature review, you want things to flow. You want things to flow from topic A to topic B to topic C to topic D. So you need an intro paragraph, right? So the introduction here is going to tell me everything I need to know about the review of the literature. The review of this literature comes from many sources, because it does. The study, the research done, I'm coming up with this on the fly here, regarding the dark web, and more importantly, the Tor network, spans multiple disciplines. This review will focus primarily on the automated collection of data from the Tor network with emphasis I just can't type. With emphasis on hidden web services Okay, that's not quite a really good intro, but it's a good starting point, right? The reason it's not a great intro yet is because I haven't fleshed it out. It spans multiple disciplines. These disciplines, include certainly engineering, information systems, computer science, social science, and business. All right, so that's very true, actually, and a lot of these are interwoven in between each other. So in social science, criminology is certainly a social science. The review will focus primarily on the automated collection of data from the Tor network with emphasis on hidden web services. The review should prove useful. Well, it should provide. I like that. My brain said one thing, my hands did another. Provide a good representation of what I'm going to talk about here is really crawlers. If you don't know what a crawler is, it's the little robot that runs through and grabs a web page and says what it is. Google and Yahoo and Bing all use crawlers. A good representation of automated crawlers. In the literature for research purposes. Okay. All right, so that's a good intro. It covers my basis. It tells you where I'm going to go with this review of the literature. So you know I'm going to include engineering and information systems. I'm going to include computer science and social science and business. You know I'm going to not just pull from one primary platform. You know I'm going to pull from as many platforms as has done research on crawling the dark web, which is what this upcoming paper is going to be about. It's going to be about crawling the dark web. So I have lots of sources here, but I'm only going to use two for the moment. I'm going to use Park, and I'm going to use Zulkarnain. I think that's how you say the name. I'm not quite sure, and I really don't want to say it incorrectly too many times and do this person disservice. So, yeah, let's get started. Improving the Tor hidden service crawler performance. So this is my abstract. Not my abstract. This is my annotation that I've written about the article before. The authors used a Docker platform to virtualize multiple crawlers attempting to reduce the crawling of hidden services on Tor. The crawling time of hidden services on Tor. The study yielded a decrease in time needed to crawl a site by 39%. Similar methods are useful in the large-scale collection and classification of sites on the dark web. Okay, so they wrote some code. They created this artifact, and then they've gone through and tested that artifact, and these are the results of that test. So instead of saying the authors, I will come in here and say, I will have a transition sentence. Many studies have used automated data collection on the dark web, but few have supplied the research artifact as a contribution to the body of knowledge. And here's where I go. I say Park, Moon, and Lee use the Docker platform to virtualize multiple crawlers attempting to reduce the crawling time, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you take a look, you see that I didn't just go right into Park. I have this sentence that says, hey, I was just talking about automated crawlers. Now I'm going to talk about automated crawlers again. I have what's called a transition sentence. This helps it flow. This takes the reader, instead of going bank, 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 it smooths into that next paragraph, right? It's a very smooth flow. And so I do all this, and then at the end of this, I say, hey, this was Park, Moon, and Lee. And this was, I think, what year was this? I'm doing it by hand. I'll show you how to do it in Mendeley here in just a second. This was 2019, so this year. Now I'm summarizing the work, so I don't need a page number. That's how I do it, but I'm going to do it better because I have Mendeley installed and want to do it really, really well. So I'm going to insert the citation, Park, Moon, there we go. Yep, okay, I left off the ampersand. Okay, so what this means is that paragraph is done. You need to limit your paragraphs to about 1 citation per paragraph. Which means if you have 10 citations, you should take about 10 paragraphs. There should be a transition sentence between each one. So how do I do the next one? The next one is also going to be about creating a crawler. Others, let's see, other authors utilize the OSI, I should say ISO model to create specific to navigate. Now, if you don't know what the OSI ISO model is, that's okay. I'm not going to penalize you. Let's see here. Open Systems International. Interconnection. I know better than that. Interconnection. Whoops. And then we're going to say International Standards. You say it one time, then you can use the acronym from there on out. Here I should say the onion router. Right, Tor network. Then I can use Tor from there on out. All right, so the transport layer protocol. These guys were actually really smart. And clear web, I'm going to add that to my dictionary because it's very true. All right, so other authors utilize the Open Systems Interconnection International Standards Organization model to navigate the automated data collection on the dark web. That is my transition sentence. Now, I'm going to grab this other article here, and this was, this is a lot of authors, and I'm going to mess this up. But here we go. It's Zulkarnain, Frank, that's his last name, Monk, Mitchell, one L or two L's on Mitchell, Davies, and I should say Ann Davies, created a crawler specific to the Tor network while still allowing access to the clear web using socket layers in the transport layer protocol, TCP. The authors were able to classify and map various dark web sites. This work provides another proof of concept that the materials on the dark web can be crawled and categorized for later analysis. Now, if you notice, I'm listing the authors out completely on the forehand, on the front side. I'm not putting the little number behind that. This is my specific way of doing things. Of course, you do you. Do what your professor or instructor has instructed you to do. And I just find that this is much easier way of doing things. You know exactly when the information about those authors is present, when it's not. This is my way of avoiding plagiarism. So there, I have another transition sentence to start this up. Other authors that I transition out of one format into another. And just like that, I have my introduction, I have my first two authors, and then I would move on to my next transition statement. That's all I'm going to do because this could take forever, but I think you'll get the idea now. Do this for each citation that you have. Do this for each source that you have. And if you want to know, well, what order do they come in? Well, that depends. I like to do mine by groups. So right now I'm talking specifically about the groups of people who have created these crawlers. Within the groups, I like to do them by year. So in actuality, I'll probably come back and flip these, since one's a 2016 and one's a 2019. I'll probably come back in and reverse the flow of this. So it depends on how you group things together. Make sure that you're grouping things together by what makes sense. It doesn't matter necessarily how you group those things together, but make sure they're grouped. Like, I'm putting all of my crawlers together in one. I'll put all the articles that use crawlers in another section, right? And you can do that. In fact, I highly recommend you organize this somehow. Once you organize it, you'll be able to come back through and go, okay, this makes sense. You're making a logical argument. This is all the things that are done on these. And if you find that one thing makes sense before others, flip it around. Put one subject matter in front of the others. So this is a really good way to turn an annotated bibliography into a literature review. As always, if you have any questions on this, feel free to add a question in the comments. I typically respond within 24 hours to my YouTube. Of course, if you're a student in my class, email me. Of course, I'm going to respond to you as well. So just let me know. And if you find this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see something else, then, let me know. And if you didn't find this video helpful, well, thanks for sticking around and watching it anyway. And hopefully you'll gain something out of it. Okay, with that, I'm going to sign off. And you guys have a good one.